Hey there, golf lovers. Looking to step up your game? Let me tell you about Mollybox, the ultimate golf subscription box. Every month, Mollybox sends you a box packed with premium golf gear, accessories, and stylish apparel, all delivered right to your door. Imagine getting top-tier apparel and more, all handpicked just for you. With Mollybox, you'll stay ahead of the game and boost your performance. It's like having a personal caddy in a box. So why wait? Join the Mollybox family today. Head over to mollybox.com and use your limited time promo code ROGUE25, ROGUE, ROGUE 25 for 25% off your first box. That's mollybox.com.
Most bankers aren't ready to help you until after their third cup of coffee. But with Central National Bank's after-hours service, you don't have to wait for the bank lobby to open to get help. You can contact us from 6 to 8:30 in the morning or from 5 to 10 in the evening, and we'll connect you to a real, live, local person who can answer questions and fix problems 7 days a week. Bank different. Bank Central. Central National Bank. Member FDIC.
Hey everybody, welcome to What's Up Waco with Erica Boisvert, your local Waco agent. We are going to be getting into some good information about downtown Waco. We will also touch on the real estate market. That's the world I live in. Hey everybody, welcome to What's Up Waco with Erica Boisvert, your local real estate agent. Today I am joined by Kristine Koehn of the Koehn Mortgage Group.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
I'm so excited.
I am very excited to talk to you today, especially about this topic. So some of you may or may not know, but I'm married to a veteran. And my daughter is also in the Army, so this is something
that's amazing. I didn't know that. Thank them for their service.
Yes,
Please
ma'am.
do.
I
Please
will. And so this is super important.
Close to home for you. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
So, listeners, we're going to be talking about VA loans today. If you're a buyer thinking about purchasing and would like to utilize your VA benefits, you can reach out directly to Kristine or me. We'll have information at the end of the podcast of how to get in touch with us. But first, let's roll into it. We really want to talk to sellers today, because y'all have so much control right now with what's going on with the sale of your home and all these choices coming at you with multiple offer situations. And a lot of them are VA, conventional, and we know cash is in there too. And we'll just let that bad boy alone.
Let's table that one.
We'll table that one. Mm-hmm. So we just want to talk about when you have financing options, why the VA loan is a good choice to get your house under contract with somebody in a VA loan. So Kristine, I know we've talked about some things.
We have, and although my dad was in the military, he was in the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
He spent 12 years, and so that's as close as my family goes with the military. So again, just kudos to you. That's amazing. But as far as VA financing from a seller standpoint, you can look at it from I guess two different foods for thought. Being helping someone who served your country. Right. Okay. If a veteran is making an offer on your home and you've got an FHA here offer, a conventional offer and a VA offer, at face value without, looking into the lives of the FHA and conventional, automatically that you have someone who has served your country. Right,
yes, ma'am.
So that to me, from a seller's standpoint, is like one box checked off for we really like that one. But aside from financially, VA is a little bit different than let's just compare. Let's say we have a seller that has FHA conventional and a VA offer on the table in front of them. Okay, with mostly what I'm seeing, at least these days, and I've got 24 years at this gig, so I've seen a lot of appraisals. I've seen a lot of. I'm not new. Yeah, I'm not old, but I'm not new. If at face value, you've got, the appraisal is usually a big thing for a lot of people, and there was a time period that we were getting to where we were having to wait 6 weeks for an appraisal. I mean, it was nuts having to wait for appraisals. So that has improved greatly. But the thing with VA that never wavered is a VA appraiser has 10 business days. Okay. Asterisk on business days. It doesn't include weekends. Business days to return that report to the lender. So, I mean, that's amazing.
That's huge.
That is huge. So if you're a seller, you got another box there that you need to check as to why we should take the VA offer. FHA and conventionals run at about 3 weeks now or so, give or take.
It's better, but
it is better, but
certainly
it's not what it
business
used to.
days.
Right. And so, a lot of people, and I think that. And you and I, Erica, talked about this. I think a lot of it comes back to the realtor being knowledgeable, the listing agent being knowledgeable about property conditions, right?
Yes.
Meaning property conditions means what is obviously the condition of the property. And for all three programs, FHA, conventional, and VA, if you have those three in front of you, for the most part, the appraisals are going to be the same. If a lot of people go, oh, well, we'll just take conventional because of the, okay, well, here's the deal. If a conventional appraiser walks up to a property and there's shingles missing from the roof, they're not just going to not see that or not that, because that is they're being not representing the person who's paying them, which is the borrower, the buyer, right? So it's not as if conventional appraisers just shut their eyes and yay, it's appraised. FHA and VA is certainly a little more strict, okay? But in those terms, strict is basically what you would want in a home if you were buying it.
Right.
No broken windows.
Right.
No exposed electrical wiring.
Right.
No, let's say the home is on septic and there is a pool in the backyard that's not made for swimming. It's from the septic. These are things that as a home buyer are safety and security and all of those things that you would want addressed anyway.
Which really, as a seller with pride of ownership, I mean...
You know what? But I'm telling you, and I might seem like I'm going to rag on some realtors, but as sellers have one track minds,
yes.
Okay? Because we us in the business, realtors and lenders, we do this all day, every day, right? So we have our peripheral vision going, okay, oh, what's that? What's this? A seller is just like, get me the most money and get it for me today,
right?
But with a listing agent, when they go to list a property and mark on that little, the listing sheet, what type of financing we're going to accept. If you're going to accept government financing, FHA, VA, USDA, USDA is an awesome program too. We need to show about that.
Yes.
But if you agree to those things, let's look at the property and see which, I would say as you walk through the house, if you look at something, you go, oh, I would need that changed, or, because it's a safety and security issue.
Absolutely.
VA is big on safety and security. So most of the property conditions that we see, and I say that, become lender required repairs,
right?
They're only lender required if the appraiser says this needs to be done. Right.
Okay.
We don't arbitrarily just say do something, to a house. It has to be an appraiser that would call on, like I said, the roof shows to be breaking into two pieces. There's adequate heating. A lot of people didn't know how funny in Texas that you're not required to have air conditioning.
No, I know.
But you are required to have heat. Right. So go figure on that.
You can
one.
live through the heat.
That's right.
Maybe not through the freezing cold, as we all learned so sadly.
So there has to be a heat source, which is easily fixed. Again, that goes back to realtor education as far as that goes. To know, oh, whoopsie, we just have window units for air. We need to put in some thermostatically controlled heat. No broken windows. Like I said, exposed wires. So it would be something that, and even as a selling, realtor that's representing the buyer, you would, if you're doing properly by your client, you're walking through and you're seeing an outlet with wires hanging out of it. Yes. You're going, we're going to need that taken care of long before an appraiser even gets to the property.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Being proactive is number one. But then that brings up a good point, because I'm sure people listening, if they hear required repairs, now they're going to be nervous about cost. So how can a lender help mitigate a seller paying for some of those repairs?
Well, I mean, there's several different ways. I mean, for the most part, there are certain fees that can be charged. There's the realtor can certainly contribute. I mean, there's ways there. That's where, if you're working with a good team, you come to the table and go, okay, here's our appraisal. This is what needs to be done, that's required to be done. Because now they definitely want to talk about the difference between a home inspection and the appraiser appraisal.
Yes.
Because a lot of people still think that there's a VA inspector that goes around and curses properties and stuff. But that's not the truth. There's only a VA appraiser that goes and checks if the property is safe and secure for the veteran that's buying the house,
which is so fair.
It is so fair. Well, and it's just common sense how you would think. But so that a lot of it goes back to education. But to answer your question, we just have to come to the table and go, okay, what has to be done? And there have been times where the veteran has said, depending upon how badly they want the property, listen, I'll split the cost with you on that if that's a problem. So each individual deal is kind of different.
Well, and I think when you said team, that's very important because the buyer's agent, the lender, the buyer, the seller, and the listing agent all need to come together and agree from both sides. It shouldn't be adversarial
at all,
or you're just trying to get the home sold,
and the veteran is just trying to get into a new home, right?
Exactly.
And so we're all after the same goal. So at least we're big on that, about informing everybody about what's going on. And obviously, as we're representing buyers, we only divulge so much information,
right?
But when it comes to the transaction itself, I mean, everybody needs to be working towards the same goal.
100%.
Yeah. So, but the property conditions are never unreasonable.
No, I agree.
Never unreasonable. Right. And what a VA appraiser would call on would call on the same. When I say call on, would want required improvement or repairs would be the same on any government loan for the most part.
Right. I think that's important too. When you put VA against anything else,
right? The
government is the government, and they want to know that they have the lowest risk investment.
That's exactly right. But I got to tell you, more and more we're seeing conventional appraisers doing the same kind of thing. They're coming back and saying, that broken window out back has got to be fixed because it's a safety issue. Well, because you think about it, they will be liable. I mean, if a buyer, if there's exposed wire and a buyer is injured when they move into this property and, nothing was done, that appraiser could. So
you're right.
They're being more and more aware of safety for the most part.
That's good though.
And then the structural, if there's, sometimes they'll call on chipped and peeling paint, around, but that's the structural integrity of the home, right? We, if it's the home is not sealed with the paint outside, then it's liable to have some problems on down the road with wear and tear,
right?
So it's like I said, to me, it's common sense, reasonable things that an appraiser would call for.
Right. So whereas people might be nervous that they're going to say, replace the whole roof. It may be, hey, let's get some fresh shingles over in this particular area.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
So common sense. Not bad.
Not bad at all. It's not bad at all. No.
And you're getting a veteran in a home.
That's right. Well, and I too, and I'm sure you have this on our agenda, but to talk about the fees that, there, and I won't talk about what it used to be because gosh dog, our business has changed a lot. But right now there are what's called non-allowable fees that a veteran is not permitted to pay. This would include like underwriting, processing, tax, or, just a couple of different fees. Probably, let's call it $1,500 just for the sake of argument.
Which in today's market is pennies.
Is nothing. It's nothing. But to a seller, $1,500 is $1,500. I mean, that's a lot of money to me. But there are situations that, again, if the realtors are working well together, the listing and the selling, an adjustment can be made to the sales price to cover that. Or where there's no wiggle room whatsoever, a lender can actually step in and change up a couple of things to where the seller doesn't have to pay those. So that's an option. But typically there is non-allowable fees, but there's a way to get around it where it doesn't come out of the seller's pocket.
That's what I was just going to say.
Absolutely, 100%.
The takeaway is there are options and ways to work around.
Right. Exactly right. Exactly right. But let's all go back to the team. That's, that's the listing agent, letting the selling agent know, look, we have no room right here. What can we do? What can we do together? And then pull the lender in and go, what can you do?
Can I ask, if it was gifted funds, would that still be considered coming from the veteran?
No.
So it could be.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Maybe.
Yes, it would though. Yes, it would. But there's a way too that we can. There's a fee we can charge, or as a lender, there's a portion of that I could even cover.
Okay.
So just from a lending standpoint, so there's so many different ways to decorate that topic.
Okay.
Depending
Good.
upon the particular situation, the best thing about a VA loan is it's 100% financing.
Right.
I mean, a true 100% zero down payment.
Which I think is an excellent point, because we talked about this the other day. When sellers maybe see the contract and it says $0 down,
Yes.
the implication is that the veteran is not a qualified buyer.
Right.
They don't have reserves.
Bad
They won't make it
credit.
to the closing table. Bad credit. But it's actually an earned benefit.
That is 100% true.
And the structure of the loan. And I hate it because I'll hear sellers say, "Oh, they don't have any skin in the game." Boils my blood. They literally, quite literally at times, have skin in the game.
Well, and literally in a leg or an arm. Or, I mean,
Yes.
I'm sorry to be graphic, but that's that's the case.
Well, that's where I was going. I'm glad you took it there.
But again, it goes back to realtor education on that side to go, listen, this veteran, because I got to tell you, after 24 years, I can honestly tell you, and you know what? That's the one thing I didn't do, and I will get back with you with the ratios. But over the history of ever that I've been in this business, VA loans, when we've looked at statistically the performance of the loan, VA loans 100% of the time have always performed better than any other loan program, and any other loan to value, meaning down payment. You can take someone with a 30% down payment and a VA loan, and statistically a VA loan will pay on time every single time. It's amazing.
Right.
Because they have discipline, which is amazing.
They do. And you know what I've heard other people in our industry say about veterans as well. So one of the things that maybe people listening don't realize is a lot of the timeline relies on the buyer turning in documents on time.
Yes.
And I have found with my veteran clients or law enforcement clients, they are so used to taking orders and getting it done. If they're told something's due by this time this list, they knock it out.
That's right.
And they are very responsive.
That's exactly right.
I found that to be true. Not to say that other people aren't, but there's something about the discipline, like you mentioned.
Exactly right. And it's very much more so with VA.
Oh,
It very much is that way because of that discipline, and which again makes my job so much easier.
Right.
And that's why VA, is hands down my favorite loan to write.
And faster, like sellers, listen to me. There's so many things that can extend the timeline of your transaction. Knowing that you don't have to wait on somebody to turn in their documents is such a relief for everybody.
Right.
The agents, the lenders, everybody.
Right. Well, and again, going back to the realtor education, and going back to our scenario where, you've got an FHA conventional and VA offer on the table, it's at the end of the day, it's what the realtor is translating to their seller.
Yes.
Okay. So this one means this one means this, and this one means this, this one's putting 20% down. But just like you said, it's irrelevant because they still could have not the greatest in the world credit,
right?
And have any other type of situations. You don't know what's behind the curtain with all three of those offers, but you know exactly what you're getting with a VA offer. Hands down, you know what you're getting. So it's hopefully, realtors listening this will kind of raise an eyebrow to go, maybe I need to investigate a little bit more of what exactly a VA loan is, and going back to that discipline too, very, very seldom, which any individual can have bad things happen to good people, can have, bad credit or hickeys on their credit or what have you. But again, over the past history of at least my 24 years, veterans hands down typically have the better credit.
I like what you said.
Because of the discipline.
Yes, discipline, because they know.
And responsibility.
When it's due, when it's required, done. And I like what you said, about getting behind the curtain. And again, back to the listing agent being educated. sometimes those 20% down pre-qual letters have no teeth. Nobody has looked at their documentation. So you really need to know where they truly stand as a buyer. And, as agents, that's our responsibility for our selling clients to get to the nitty gritty of, okay, how far into the process are you?
Good point. And very good point.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, very good point.
I'm not super new to this either. But I think that's something that gets lost. And I've found personally when my VA clients, when I'm following up on not my clients, when I'm following up for my seller clients on a VA loan, when I talk to the lender, they are further along in the process because, again, the discipline, getting documents turned in. Right now, everybody's trying to get as qualified as possible, which, hey, buyers, if you're listening, good Lord, please get as far into the process as you can. We need to.
Well, and quite frankly, just touching on that subject real quick, I mean, if you're even thinking about, when someone even kind of has they're sitting on the couch going, hey, Bob, what, I think we need a bigger house, or, what do you think about moving across town or what have you? That is when you start getting your financing in order. Get the money in place first and then go shopping. Yes. So that's for any purchase situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Agreed. Okay. Well, we've busted a few myths.
Yes.
Timeline is really not an issue.
Mm-hmm. Qualification.
Appraisal is going to come back typically faster.
Right.
Right now, especially.
Right.
Zero down payment doesn't mean bad.
Anything. Yeah. It does not mean anything.
They earned it.
That's it. They earned it. You're exactly right.
I'm like, we used my husband's benefits. And I'll tell you what, we're grateful for it.
Oh, I'm sure. It's just the best loan that you can get, period. As long as you're a veteran, it's just amazing. But, and there's, there's so many, even veterans aren't educated when they come out of the service as well as they should be.
Agreed.
About that benefit, which is huge. It's so big. Right. So yeah, we're going to bust that myth too.
And I just wrote this down, rates. Mm-hmm. The VA rates are always going to be little bit better.
They're a little bit better. That's exactly right.
So right now, while other buyers may be pricing themselves out of neighborhoods, your veterans are still going to be at a reasonable rate.
Right.
Would that be fair to say?
That is fair to say. And there's no mortgage insurance.
Right.
Which,
they can qualify for more homes.
Right. There's mortgage insurance on pretty much every single loan with exception to conventional if you put, 20% or more down.
Right.
Which I don't know about you, but I know more people that don't have 20% than I do that do have 20% to put down. So, but again,
big chunk of change.
That is a big chunk of change. But regardless, that just like you said though, the zero down it does not show an indication of qualification or ability to buy.
Nice.
Yep.
I love that. And then some people may say that it's a lower required credit score.
Yeah, for the most part, but VA is one of the few agencies. When I say agencies, HUD, USDA, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. VA is one of the few agencies that fall back on common sense. which is a bad word in the mortgage industry, but VA is willing to step back from a computer and go, what happened with this person? What they had a bankruptcy 2 years ago. What happened?
Right.
Is it likely to continue? To happen or not likely? Is it likely to happen again?
Okay.
Or was it just one of those situations where bad thing happened to a good person?
So they will take that into account.
100%.
Nice.
100%.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's good to know.
Right. And it goes back to the lender too, because if you've got it, lenders, hopefully everybody's just doing the right thing. But if you've got a lender that has a veteran that had a bankruptcy 2 years ago versus a 20% down conventional, sometimes it's a little bit easier to work on that 20% conventional loan, but I mean, doing the right thing is advocating for that veteran to be able to utilize their benefit that they earned.
Okay. Which goes back to team. Make sure you've got the right people on your team.
Absolutely.
Right. Very cool.
Absolutely.
Well, we're just busting VA loan myths.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. Can you think of any that we missed?
Well, I mean, the things that I wrote down, the seller, there's ways, I think the most beautiful way to utilize a VA loan is not only the 100%, but in 99.9% of the cases, and don't let this scare you off, but the seller can actually pay the closing costs for the veteran.
Oh, yeah.
Now, having said that, that doesn't mean we're going to go into their checking account and grab a bunch of money. Okay. Right. Typically, that is negotiated in the sales price.
There we go.
To where it's the saying goes, skin off their nose. Right. It's not coming out of what they anticipated making off of the property as far as proceeds.
Right. So as they're looking at their net sheet, that bottom line isn't changing.
Right.
But the purchase price.
But the benefit, a forward benefit that they're giving that veteran is just such a blessing. And it's one of those things that, at least for me in my career, I just advocate the least amount of money you can put into a home, the better.
Absolutely.
Because with this 20% that you put down, 10 years from now, that 20% still, let's say it's $40,000. That $40,000 10 years from now is still only going to be worth $40,000. Mm-hmm. God willing, the house is going to appreciate in value regardless of how much you put down. So if you took that $40,000 and invested it, and we're making an interest and all that, but that's a whole nother show. But anyway, but one of the other things that I wanted to touch on with VA is it's 15 or 30 year financing. Mm-hmm. From a buyer standpoint, VA will allow for higher debt to income ratios. Ooh. than any other program. Just because, again, the knowledge that regardless of on paper, if they appear to be overextended, 100% of the time, at least mostly, they're going to take care of their responsibilities.
Okay. Yes.
So that's always a good thing,
because that's historically proven.
Right. Exactly. And should a veteran get into some trouble, let's say that, did we not learn some stuff during 2020? They lose their job or what have you, and it appears they're going to be foreclosed on. VA will actually step in and negotiate on the veteran's behalf with their lender, to keep them in their home and get things situated for them the best they can, if at all possible.
That's nice.
I will say as well that with us, at the Koehn Mortgage Group, we waive our lender fees for veterans, which is $1,690, which makes a difference, when you're asking the seller to pay closing, or when the veteran is paying their own closing costs. That's $1,690. That'll pay some moving expenses.
I've had clients work with you, and that was a big deal for them. Yes. It was really helpful.
Thank you for that. So of course, VA is primary residence only. Right. Yep. You can't buy investment property with 100% financing.
Not trying to make money off of it. We're trying to get veterans into homes.
Exactly. But you can have more than one VA loan.
Yes.
So let's say that you're transferred and you want to hang on to your property, as long as the eligibility is there, and that's the equation is buried in the center of the earth when it comes to VA. But luckily, we have computers and worksheets that do that for us. But you could actually qualify to have more than one VA loan. Okay. So that's just, again, on an individual basis and working with a lender that's familiar with VA and willing to.
Limitations to that, and how much of your benefit you've already used, things of that nature.
Exactly.
And then, so coming back to repairs, if any are required, VA also, are there some renovation loan, construction loan options that come along with VA loans?
Yes, we do not have those. Okay. But yes, there are certainly lenders that can do a reno for a veteran. I'm not sure who in town. You'd have to do some investigating on that one. Okay. But yeah, what we were talking about too, as far as the a lot of veterans aren't educated on their benefits when they come out, or they'll have so many times. And like I think I was telling you the other day on my questionnaire, my pre-qualification questionnaire, there is a required question that I make you answer before you can go any further. Are you a veteran? Yeah. Because there have been numerous times where they've marked yes and have selected they wanted conventional financing or FHA financing. And so when I call, I'm like, what are you doing here? Right. And they said, well, I've already used it. I used it 5 years ago. And I'm like, well, honey, I'm about to be your best friend. Let me tell you something. Yeah, because you can use it again. Yeah. And I mean, we can do simultaneous closings. If you're in a home right now with a VA loan and you're buying another one and you're closing tomorrow, we can free up that eligibility so there's no wait period or anything like that. So yeah, so that's it's just, you're crazy not to use that if you're qualified and you're eligible as a veteran.
Well, and I think any veterans who are listening can probably agree that the whole reentry process is not a very good one. So, I love that you brought that up, that they just need to know the extent of these benefits. And it's not like a one-time thing.
No, for life.
Use it again.
Absolutely, for life.
Earned it.
Yes. And even I've even had veterans that had a foreclosure numerous years ago and thought, I blew it. Let's investigate that. Let's reach out to the VA. Let's see what you have to do. Let's see if there's any eligibility left. Because maybe you may have to have a small down payment, or what have you. But let's at least entertain that. Let's exhaust that before you just don't use it at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. Speaking of down payment, if a veteran did want to put money down for some reason, they felt good about it, it was in their brain that they have to have a down payment, is that an option? I know it's 100%. I mean, they can, right?
Oh, of course. Okay. Of course. I would definitely want to have serious conversations with them to go, okay, tell me why you're wanting to do that.
Right.
And then I would look at, their debt load. Do you have any debts that you're paying, a pretty crazy interest rate on? How about we use that money to, let's get out of some debt? Or, again, who do you know that's in the financial industry? What could you invest that money at and earn, as long if they're doing the down payment because they want to get their payment lower, which again, when you think about for every $10,000 up or down, and this is just a general guideline, okay? For every $10,000 up or down on a loan amount, you're talking about $55 in payment. So if you have $10,000, okay, and you could pay off a $400 a month car payment instead of putting it down on a house, that kind of seems like that would be a smart thing to do.
Absolutely.
So as a loan, I'm a licensed loan officer, but I'm a loan consultant because I'm going to sit down, I'm going to look at the big picture and go, okay. And again, I think, Rick has told you, and I'll tell you that we've run our business the way we've run our family, 5 kids, 5 grandbabies, by God's rule to do unto others. So I'm going to stand back and I'm going to look at, how many kids do you have? What are your other expenses that I'm not seeing on the credit report? What's your spending habits and and I would always advise what I would do if I were you. And, sometimes it's not appreciated when I say you eat out way too much. You need to start
People
learning.
Don't like to hear that.
I'm going to gift you as your housewarming gift some cooking lessons, But it's one of those things that just, some people just need to hear the truth and helpful information.
Well, and I think that's one of the things I appreciate about Rick and you is that you approach this not just as let's get this loan done, let's get this transaction under contract, let's go. It's more about what's best for the client.
Well, and we have people that we've worked with for a year or 2 years, trying to help them get their credit into a situation where they can purchase a home. And it's one of those things. As long as they're playing with us and walking along with us and taking our advice, then we'll walk with them as long as it takes.
Right.
Nice. Because like I said, bad things do happen to good people.
Absolutely.
And most people that show up that may be credit challenged, it didn't get that way overnight, and they aren't going to get out of it overnight.
No.
But as long as they're contributing and participating and, like I said, following directions, we have tools that can say, okay, if you pay this down, you should increase your scores by this, that kind of thing. But we offer that service to everyone. But again, with veterans, there's just a soft place in my heart. I mean, to help them get into a place.
I love that.
And VA also offers jumbo.
Yes.
I know there's not a whole lot in our area as far as jumbo financing, and we kind of do a happy dance. It was like, jumbo, what's that?
What is that? What is that right now?
Oh, you're going to make me lie to you.
Six.
Yeah.
I'm wanting to say 647.
It's 647, 648, something like that. It's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a whole lot. Yeah. That a veteran can
Waco?
still, yes,
that's
a veteran can still use their VA financing eligibility to purchase property of that size. Absolutely.
All right. Well, I have really enjoyed this conversation.
Me too. I just love that we're both passionate about it.
Very.
And like I said, we as a just a mom and pop little mortgage company in Waco, Texas, we're going to try to take on some education as far as the realtors go, and
looking forward to it.
Yeah, because that way just everybody's making informed choices. Because that seller doesn't know what they don't know, and that listing agent has got to be a good guide. As far as that goes. So
very true.
Yeah.
All right. So hopefully we answered everybody's questions and kind of put some seller concerns at bay. But if we missed anything, Kristine, where can you be reached if somebody needs to talk to you?
Our office phone number is 254-405-6690.
And is there a good place? Are you online anywhere that would be
Absolutely. Yeah, KMortgageGroup.com. Yeah, and there's a page for VA financing, and yeah, we're always available. Like I said, we try to make it a point to be available when our clients need us, because not everybody is available from 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. So yeah, we try to be available as best we can.
Yes, you do. And then if you have real estate related questions and you want to reach out to me, Erica Sells Texas. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, and my number directly is 254-447-0180. This has been What's Up Waco with Kristine Koehn joining today, talking about VA loans and the massive benefit, awesome thing that they are. Thank you for listening in here at Rogue Media Network. We are looking forward to talking to you again next week. Do you have a topic you want to talk about? Do you have questions about Waco, the real estate market, how to sell your house, what to look for when you're buying a home? Send me an email, ericasellstexas@gmail.com. Shoot me a text, 254-447-0180. Happy to chat about it. Find me anywhere you listen to your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com.
Hey there, golf lovers. Looking to step up your game? Let me tell you about Box, the ultimate golf subscription box. Every month, Box sends you a box packed with premium golf gear, accessories, and stylish apparel, all delivered right to your door. Imagine getting top-tier apparel and more, all handpicked just for you. With Box, you'll stay ahead of the game and boost your performance. It's like having a personal caddy in a box. So why wait? Join the Box family today. Head over to mollybox.com and use your limited time promo code ROGUE25, ROGUE, ROGUE 25 for 25% off your first box. That's mollybox.com.